Hello and welcome to my channel. This is Bicycle Touring Talk number 137. I am
Jörg Schlagheck, the one and only.
We're going across parts of Colombia, and if you're new here, you might be wondering from where to where. Barbara and I had started from Bogota in early January 2019. You will find previous videos of this series in the playlist Bicycle Touring Talk Colombia series. Well, on January 29th, we reached the town of Bosconia. It was super busy there, and while we enjoyed the hustle and bustle for a few minutes before retreating to our room, we couldn't wait to get some rest. I actually got a short clip of that room. We watched some silly show on TV, and I can show you the fantastic purple sink and toilet. My home renovation store doesn't sell anything but white ones. The next morning we were up super early and only had a snack and instant coffee in our room before departing. We couldn't wait to move on and finally get close to Santa Marta. It was still about 165 kilometers or so. Perhaps we could tackle that in about 3 days? Well, the way that our ride started out, we weren't sure if we'd ever get there or if we'd get killed on the road first. Coming out of Bosconia, there was a truck scale. For a few kilometers, the shoulder of the road disappeared completely, and instead, there was an extra lane for trucks only, right through the scale. It was separated from the main road by some yellow bumps, the kind that will throw you off your loaded bike if you hit them by mistake. Now we had big trucks to our right, and other traffic to the left, with a lane of oncoming traffic right next to that. It was probably one of the most uncomfortable rides I've ever experienced. But we got past it. Then things got slightly better. We had high hopes of finding more abandoned construction zones where we could ride apart from the motorized traffic. But no such luck. Instead, we had to put up with a very narrow shoulder. It looks like we gotta make do with 2 lanes, at least for now. Problem is, shoulder is narrower as well. So we gotta be really careful when there's traffic going both ways because they pass awful close sometimes. In hindsight, I really think we were crazy, but if you went there today, you might actually find this road completed with a much better shoulder for riding. I'm not sure about that, but how long does it take to twin a highway? It was a tough day because we had to be on high alert pretty much the whole time. We made stops for brunch and cold drinks, but for that section of the ride, most of the details are just a blur. Too much time has passed and my recordings are incomplete. I know we passed another toll booth that was charging cars and trucks money to ride on this crazy 2-lane highway. I also remember passing through various smaller towns and villages, but don't ask me for their names because I'd have to stare at the map for half an hour only to take a wild guess. At least there were some shady parts along the way. We eventually ended up at another truck stop motel that was probably between towns somewhere. But it had a pretty nice room for us, and at least we were able to bring our bikes inside with us. Supper was across the parking lot. It was good, but not gourmet food. We got to experience the way truck drivers in Colombia eat. It's repetitive, but nourishing. The next morning, Barbara said that we shouldn't ride any more than 50 kilometers that day. I agreed, but hadn't found any hotel within that distance when studying the map. Were we gonna camp somewhere? We could always ask people where a suitable place might be that was safe. But then things turned out much differently. After about 40 kilometers, we reached a small village. I think it's called La Gran Via, where we stopped for lunch and then decided we'd like to stay there overnight. When we asked several people at a store about the hotel that was supposed to be in town, we were sent to a building that was maybe just under 500 meters off the highway, or about quarter mile. Yes, this was a hostel. Someone received us, ready to rent us a room for what would have been about $20. It would have been okay if there hadn't been a woman complaining about having to vacate it. We caught on to this while checking out the room itself. I knew right away that this room wasn't gonna cut it. There was no bathroom at all, but a big old barrel full of water for the shower. Don't ask me about the toilet. I'm not sure if we even made it that far. All of a sudden, Barbara got her second wind. A boost of energy strong enough to propel her for another 20 kilometers. That was all it took to get to another really nice truck stop motel with a restaurant next door in a place called Zawadi. Don't know if I'm saying it right. When we arrived there, we were both drained. Barbara wanted nothing more than to relax in the air-conditioned room. We didn't even make it into the restaurant for supper. Instead, I walked back a kilometer or so to where we had seen some stores and picked up snacks for the evening. So this was the last day of January. We had already spent 3 weeks just riding our bikes. The one thing we didn't have that night was proper internet. I'm not sure if the place just didn't have it or if it wasn't working. But we had no idea how far Santa Marta actually was from this place. Could we make it there in a day? Was February 1st gonna be the day we'd see the ocean? Let me tell you about that next time when I come back with episode number 138. In the meantime, I'll have another video coming up about making that sprocket from scratch that I told you about. I found a serious error in my method, and I will tell you all about it. Then there's the interview with Jaden, a cyclist from Edmonton who's getting ready to ride across Canada. Unfortunately, we had to postpone that, but it's still on. You might want to subscribe now so you won't miss any of it. Hey, before you go, just tickle the like button ever so gently. Thank you and have a good day.